Hello, my name is Chrissy, and I'd like to share a story that comes from Germany that I believe is love made visible. And sometimes love hurts. There once was a tailor, somebody who sews clothes, and he was traveling through the forest and he heard a beautiful sound. Oh, there was singing and music, and he was wanting to know where that sound came from. And he went here and he went there through the forest, following the sound until he came to a meadow. And there in the middle of this beautiful meadow was a big tree. And he went up to the tree and he put his ear to it, and the music was coming from the tree. But how could that be? He thought, how can music come from a tree? And he wanted to know why. So out of his pocket he took a needle and he started to poke the tree to figure out how music could come out of the tree. And he poked and he poked, and all of a sudden the needle disappeared into the tree and out came a key. He turned the key and opened the tree and looked down the gullet of the tree, and he was sucked down to a room, and he was knocked out cold. And when he came to and started to move around, he looked and he saw as if the whole room was glittering with crystals. And when he started to move around, he was being poked here and there. And as he became more aware of his surroundings, there were needles everywhere, poking him here, poking him there. And he thought to himself, if I don't get out of here, I'm going to be like a sponge, poked full of holes, and my blood will all flow out. So he reached into his pocket, took out his big scissors, and he cut through the wall. And he climbed through, and he entered another room. And there were scissors back and forth, hundreds of scissors cutting back and forth, coming closer to his body and cutting his clothes. And he thought to himself, if I don't get out of here, those scissors are going to cut me up. And so he reached into his pocket and he took out an iron, and he pushed through the scissors and he pushed through the wall, and he came into what looked like a forest glen. And the sky, as he looked up, started to get cloudy and cloudy and cloudy, and thunder and lightning, and it started to rain, and it rained irons. And the iron started to hit him on his body, and he was getting bruised, and the only place he could find shelter were some bramble bushes, and he pushed his body into the thorns, and the thorns, they poked him. And he thought, I'm going to die out here, and he's looking around for another place to get shelter. And there he sees an empty tree trunk, and he runs and he goes into it for a brief moment. There's no pain, but into the tree trunk comes a line of red ants, and they march toward him and they crawl up his body and they start to bite him, and he has stinging pain and it's itching and hurting all over his body. And he's trying to get the ants off, and he's in stinging pain, and he looks up to the heavens and he says, if I escape from this, I will never hurt another tree again. And at that moment, the iron rain stopped and the ants disappeared, and the tailor, he ran out from that tree trunk and he ran all the way home. And from that day on, he never hurt another tree again. And that is the story of the singing tree.